nothing is quicker than just surfing on that wall made of rocks right down to bot lane, right up to top lane, wherever you need to be to take someone out.
Yeah, a lot of big team fight tools as well. I mean, that wall really impactful, especially around objectives and when you're trying to siege up in the base. So, I mean, for factoring in Talia as one of those, outside of Robo, whose ult is not specifically meant for the team fights, though he's going to be very good in them. Yeah, I'd say I don't want a team fight up against Loud. The problem is
No.
Los Grandes kind of do. That is what their composition is meant for on the other side as well. When you pick Aphelios, you're not picking him for the scrap potential.
No, you do want a team fight. And that's going to present a fairly interesting standpoint because ostensibly these compositions want to do similar things, right? I think for Louds, the engage is a bit more potent, and I think that they're going to be finding themselves a little bit more easy to start off those fights, right? The Amumu is just going to provide that engage from a little bit of a further range than Zay is going to be able to do on the Annie, but I wouldn't be surprised if this bot lane from Los Grandes can put up a fair bit of pressure. They need to be careful of this early all-in, though.
Also, really solid bandage toss. Going to be traded more or less evenly as the long range from the Aphelios does let Los Grandes ultimately feel pretty comfortable in this lane, but with both AD carries already being under some pressure in the early stages, I like that we've got everybody feeling confident. That includes both Loud and Los Grandes after their most recent games, and we'll see what sorts of shenanigans we can get up to in the 2v2 while we wait for our junglers to finish their clears that they've started on the top side, both of them full clearing through the map.
Ooh, that really hurts if you're an Amumu here, and that chunk is not worthless. That's going to hurt Loud's ability to step up to this lane. You were sort of relying on the fact that the Misfortune and Amumu have great all-in potential to get advantages and get pressure versus the double-ranged matchup that Los Grandes have thrown at you, but it's not what it's looking like at the moment. Croc actually being invaded by Ranger, who is full HP on this Trundle. He's still going to be sticking around. Pillow's going to go up.
Yeah, he'll live. He just won't be happy about it. And Krugs are going to continue to be denied as Ranger now has the pressure from Zay roaming up out of the bot lane with a wave crashing here as well. Krog's going to have to stick around, continue being threatened by Ranger and losing gold, presence, time, and the ability to actually support his bot lane, who are, most importantly, having 3, maybe even 4 people in their lane pretty soon.
Yeah, and you see it's actually a flip of the expectations from champions. Like there, it's Los Grandes who have been able to get the shove and the pressure, at least in these early few levels, right? And whilst it's not going to result in massive, the thing that the Trundle can do is just run at the enemy jungler. This guy is so strong at dueling in these early stages, and the Sejuani not really able to put up a fight here.
Croc does still have the flash, so he's playing very dangerously, though, into, as you said, a champion that you know is going to be a better duelist in the early game. Ranger playing with the confidence that, I mean, he can only rightly assume, but given how we haven't seen that much Trundle recently, I'm quite happy with how easily he's asserted himself in this game, gotten off to a farm advantage, kept Croc on the back foot, and now gets to retreat back into his own jungle and actually take his camps.
I mean, right, dear, let's not pretend that Trundle is like Lee Sin if he was released in 2023, right? Like, this is fairly simple champion with simple objectives, but sometimes that's what you need. And hey, a great stylistic counter into what Loud have got for themselves here. We're seeing Los Grandes continuing to build a CS lead on the bottom lane, but in the top side, Robo has actually been doing pretty decently for himself on the Olaf.
Oh, I haven't checked in with that in a while, but... Well, I'm waiting for that level 6, and then I really want Robo to sprint it. It just depends whether here it is overextended enough or not. Like, but I do think that the Olaf is the classic Robo champion of just, I'm ready to fight, and I bet you're not. When we hit the level 6, whether it be in lane, whether it be in the team fights, the nice thing is that Robo is always going to have an insane amount of pressure because he quite literally cannot be stopped.
I mean, there are a few of those players like that that are just willing to push the boundaries of League of Legends that little bit further than they are usually pushed. And that could be a great boon for a team that is able to recognize and play around it. It also does give your opponent a fair few opportunities, actually. If you are stepping on the line every single time, then occasionally you will go over it at points. But Rory's being nice and controlled here. He's just slowly stacking up that wave into here. The Scion is a great neutralizer in this lane, but if Croc ever finds himself on the top side of the Rift, still an excellent gank opportunity with the synergy between the Olaf and the Sejuani.
Where Croc is also just become very important as we've got our first objective spawning. Chemtech just hit the Rift, and we've got another minute or so until the Rift Herald, but importantly, Loud don't really have a big say in what objectives they would want to fight over because of the threat of Ranger that is ever present. He's already pushed Croc out of a lot of the jungle. Now he's made sure that there's no priority in this mid lane or bot lane, but Loud want to fight for it anyway. Croc goes into the pit, and they've got the Giga flank, I suppose. Out goes the wall, and Los Grandes can't retreat now. Instead, they just flash onto Tiddones, and this is absolutely the right move. One that everyone should have seen coming, and one that will eventually claim first blood. I will say, Croc managed to pick up the Chemtech Dragon for that, so though he loses his life, it's now 2 kills for a Dragon. Traded back 1, and we're going to get another kill, I imagine, going on to Robo. He survives, though, and Seos goes down. 3 for 1
no,
and
I agree.
a dragon?
No. Oh. Okay, no. That noise that you made there, dear, that that pretty much describes that fight in its entirety. That was a very strange decision from Croc to go over that wall there. I mean, right, so Los Grandes, they can easily start this up because they've got bot lane priority and Lava is just rotated down from mid lane. You see that wave is even up there. Tiddones, I guess he's trying to stop people accessing the fight, but unfortunately for him, here it has flash, and the rest of Los Grandes can kind of just capitalize on you easily, and this is really not how Loud want to be playing these fights. Yeah, Robbo is able to get access into the backline, but he comes here so late. CS doesn't have level 6, so the Amumu is a glorified melee minion, and if, hey, your random minions dying at the end of your team fight, maybe you shouldn't have gone for that team fight in the first place.
I have to agree, and I'm not the only one on this broadcast team that would. Nice escape at the end, of course, from Robo, but it doesn't really shore up the play from Loud. I think the nice thing is that they got the dragon. Loud picked up the objective, and on a technical level, that's very good. Los Grandes, however, absolutely the winners of that engagement by and large, and they're going to be looking for the next one as well. That fight took long enough that we've now pushed ourselves to the point where Rift Herald is available. Ranger's getting initiated on in the jungle, but has backup from Lava, so should be all right. His expenditure of the ultimate, however, a pretty big commitment, and it's going to be down for the next little while, leaving Los Grandes without the ability to challenge as confidently for future objectives.
Okay, that's big actually, because Rift Herald is on the board. Ranger doesn't have his ultimate, but Croc still does. If we see an attempt at a play around the top side, then you'd have to feel that Loud would be in the favor, especially with a PES post-6 Robo able to join into the fray. So Los Grandes going to have to be aware of that one for the next little bit of time. But for their point of view, this game is going pretty damn well. The gold lead hasn't really exploded in their favor, but they've got Ranger to be active in the early game. They've got Lava, a bit of activity in the early game. This is kind of what they needed, and as long as Neptuno's able to stabilize, he should be fine on the Aphelios. There isn't as much dive here on the side of Loud. It's much more about just kind of destroying the team fight, blowing it open with massive wombo combos of ultimate, rather than specifically targeting out the enemy AD carry. He might be the target of this next play, though, as Ranger's here, but Croc is here as well.
All right, that one lands onto Zay. However, he takes the majority of the damage. Bullet time, finishing off the rest, is unable to move. Neptuno and Zay go down. It will be the burn onto Seos that claims him right back, but an excellent sequence of events for Loud in this bot side, and that's how it should be going every time. Rinse and repeat that, baby.
Yeah. That was like the perfect painting of what that combo looks like for Loud, and yeah, that works. 10 minutes into the game, that's going to work 20, 30, 40 minutes into the game. Such a reliable way of setting up your team fights for success, as Tiddones here trying to get a pick onto Hero, who's going to be able to ultimate himself out of there, but he still needs to be careful. Loud could look for a dive.
Now he's got no ult, he's got no CC underneath the tower. There is nowhere for Herit to go. Sticks around a little too long and gives Loud a way back. Let's take a look one more time at how that bot lane panned out. As you said, picture perfect for them. Even though Croc's ultimate doesn't hit Netuno himself, Seos has got the rest of it done. The slow is enough.
He levels up to 6 in the middle of that fight. When he bandaged Toss in, he was 5, but a minion died somewhere. He got the bonus XP, and he was able to set up for a pretty substantial wombo combo. Now, Root, 2-0-2 on this misfortune, feeling pretty good about himself, has got that Kraken Slayer, which is going to help immensely, chasing down Netuno and trying to get some more pressure onto this Aphelios.
Croc going to be able to get out. Quick pressure from Los Grandes towards the bottom side of the river, but it's going to be especially relevant in the next couple seconds as a Cloud Dragon is coming up. Now, I personally never know what CBLOL is going to do about a Cloud Drake, second Drake, because they don't like Cloud Drake in the first place. They don't like second Drake in the second place. And I suspect we may go a little while longer without having this taken.
Maybe. I mean, everyone from Loud is here. You would think that the Cloud Drake would be the next point of focus. We are seeing a couple of things on it, and I think Croc might be starting it up. But I think this is a bit more valuable right now. The Rift Herald, that simple ability to kind of just end one lane with a well-placed Herald is fantastical. And Loud go, no, we don't care about the Drake. We're going to try get a dive in bot lane. They're actually able to pull out a TP from Herit, so Loud could contest around the top side with Robo here.
Robo's looking for it. He's like 1v2, never heard of her. Walks right in. Chinons might get the bounce back. Doesn't find Lava on the exit, however. And Lava conserving both the ultimate and the flash. Confident in his own ability to dodge that will mean that Loud pick up the dragon as a result. And an extended play on both sides of the map does still leave Loud, I'd say in an advantage state. They got a teleport. They got... That's it, actually. They got a teleport. Yeah, that's it. I was thinking they got more up towards the top side, and I was like, no.
Well, I mean, they got a dragon as well. Is that not good enough, or is the Cloud Drake too poor a dragon for you, dear?
I mean, I don't think that contractually I could answer that question, but would I have prioritized a Cloud Drake? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Oh, Root looking for Herit.
No way. I mean, Herit does have ult, so
he can just run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can he turn and fight like a man middle cut?
I don't know. It doesn't look possible.
I wouldn't.
No, I think fighting with Root is a particularly bad idea right now. This is one of the issues Sion can have as a champion, right? Is like his CC is massive, but it's pretty damn telegraphed. If he turns around and starts like swinging up his axe, you've got about 10 years to get out of there.
Yeah.
This is good for Robo, though. Like, picking up plates for himself. The Olaf is a champion that needs to snowball out of the early game. Hey, he's got a couple of kills, and he's got more gold from himself from there. Already got the Black Cleaver looking very, very good.
Around a, 300, 350 gold lead. Just out of the turret play alone. Not even talking about these kills. Flash Cleanse still available for Root. Uses one there and might be able to get underneath the tower. Never mind. The Telegraph, the 10 years, not enough. As after you burn both your summoners, you're pretty mobile on the Misfortune, who does go down. Left alone, at least Robo is benefiting. That's the promise of Robo in the side lane. He's not teleporting for you, and that's if he even had teleport.
He's winning. Lava might be losing out, at least on a few ultimate charges, as once again, Loud finding themselves with the ability to move into this topside jungle. This really has been sort of the focus point for so much of the action in this series. No surprise to be seeing it again in this game. And hey, Loud have set themselves pretty decently. 15 minutes in. Okay, they're even in kills, but they've got that slight gold advantage, and they've been able to pick up these two Drakes.
And they've got really the only tower to speak of. Their mid lane tower pretty darn low, but siege from Los Grandes has been non-existent so far. Not really able to set themselves up and manage their side waves in a way where they're crashing quite a bit. So with that little bit of map pressure that Loud now have access to. They can push up that much further in the top side, draw more pressure towards Robo, turn that into more objectives around the map, and Tinones is already starting to apply pressure on the opposite side over in the bot lane.
Yeah, so okay, dear. Whilst we've got a couple of minutes before anything spawns, I want to paint a little picture of you. Of you, not of you, no, for
okay.
you. Not like in the context of I'm using the idea of painting a picture as a framing device to talk about League of Legends in the context of this cast. Is that okay with you?
That was okay. That's okay. Point took a little long, but I mean, you go for it.
Just need to make sure that we're on the same page in there. Okay, so we've got this beautiful picture here. Okay, we've got Root dealing a load of damage with the misfortune holding from the back line. You've got Croc, you've got CS diving forward, providing the CC. Robo there, making everyone's life a misery. And Tinones providing a load of damage on the clear and a load of zone control as well. For Los Grandes, their ability to counter that, pretty difficult. Your engage from the Scion that telegraphed from the Annie, you need to be hiding on the wrong side of a wall. From Lava, you got to fly directly at the enemy team. It doesn't look good. So Los Grandes need to find Loud split up, and they aren't right now.
There's the ult. So Lava actually putting out a decent amount of damage on this Ahri as Los Grandes get to kite back. Seo's still conserving the ultimate, finally burns it onto 2. Lava again, Spirit rushes out, but gets flashed on by Robo, who is just running down Natuno in the backside, letting Ranger die to the rest of the team, and buying so much space for the Loud roster. Flash away from Zay after he lands the Tibbers, and that says a lot about how much control Loud have over this game.
Yeah, Los Grandes try and move in. They're split up, and Loud go, no, we're not going to let you flank us. They collapse on one side. They take out Ranger. They take out Lava. Sales just about able to make that happen, and they keep building up this gold lead. Dragon is going to be spawning soon, and Loud should be favored to make the move over. But you see how far apart the members of Los Grandes are. Hirit can't get into the fight. The Aphelios, Zay, can't get into the fight. And by this time, as soon as Natuno is able to open up, his mid laner is already dead. And from that point, there is no way that Los Grandes are able to get anything else. Ranger flashes, but still gets taken down. Dragon hasn't actually been started up, so he could see round 2.
Oh my god, we're going again. Watch the ultimate cooldowns as we're still waiting for Seos' Curse of the Sad Mummy to come back up. Everything else for Loud is ready to go. On the opposite side, Los Grandes have grouped up pretty well. Lava on the flank right now isn't on vision, hasn't been spotted yet, although rounding the corner is going to encounter those double pinks. Tinones turns around. It's a fight on 2 fronts for Loud. Sandwiched in between Los Grandes. They cannot collapse onto Lava, who has the Spirit Rush available, and they have to commit Tinones to that side of the fight.
Oh my god, they're just looking at each other right now. No one wants to overstep, make a mistake. There goes the Glacial Prison!
Natuno does get that cleanse, so keeping it even for now. Nobody's able to engage onto him. That next CC, though, it's going to stick. Ranger gets jumped on. Out goes the Tibbers and the Curse of the Sad Mummy, but no kills have gone down yet. Even the bullet time gets expended, and Loud are trapped in the pit, being harassed by Los Grandes, and the Dragon being 50-50'd right now does go over to Loud eventually. First kill goes down, and it's Ranger. He flashes out of the front line, but another nice charm by Lava buys crucial time for Los Grandes to disengage. They lose one. They lose the Dragon, but they keep it together.
I have just spent a minute watching nothing happen. Both of these teams staring at each other, looking at each other, waiting for an overstep, and ultimately it just ends up being a single kill for Loud. Crucially, though, they get that Drake, that Mountain Drake, which is going to build towards their soul, which is going to synergize great with the Olaf, synergize great with the Sejuani.
Super good to have that extra durability of the Mountain, and especially when we're playing in team fights like what we just saw with such thin margins, because as you said, Middlecott, we didn't watch anything happen per se in that fight. Not a lot of kills went down. It was pretty at the end on paper cut and dry, because quick skirmish, single kill. But in practice, man, was that tense, because it was one whiffed cooldown away from just being a roll out of either side.
you have hit the nail on the head, my friend. That was a Game 3 mid-game team fight. That was one team going, we're still in this game. We're not out of it, but we know that we're down. And losing a team fight heavily at this point in the game, not a great thing to do for your chances of winning the series. Reminder, if someone wins this game, someone will win this game, but whoever does win this game is going to be going into Game 4 with match point. That is big. That is a massive advantage to hold over your opponents. And so that means that in games like this, where it can be so close, where it can be so contested, making a mistake is the last thing that you want to do.
And both teams done really well to avoid that so far. We are seeing these two teams in playoff form, with Los Grandes on the back foot yet again. They've actually been trading really well back and forth, got the mid lane tower, lose their own. Again, we say no team definitively in the lead, but I say that despite seeing a 3,000 gold lead for Loud, who have done technically quite well in this game, and yet I can't hold on to that.
It's the nature of the way that they've been getting the leads, right? Mm-hmm. It's not been explosive. We've not had that big moment where we've gone, oh, clearly Loud are just the stronger team in this game right now, despite the fact that Robo is 4-0, 2 items on the Olaf is going to be terrifying to whoever he goes against in the next team fight, or might just steal away a blue buff for himself. We haven't had that big moment yet. It's coming. Maybe in 2 minutes around this Mountain Drake, maybe slightly earlier around the Baron. But Los Grandes have still got strength for themselves. If Netuno is able to get towards this Lord Dominic's regards in short over, it's going to be massive for him to contribute damage to these fights. But again, we're falling into a similar situation. Look at the other people on his team. There's not a lot of damage items being built. It's all on Netuno to be the big carry here.
These AD carriers, they've been there before. And remember what we said going into Game 3. It's a battle of which ADC is going to be more miserable with what they've got to do. And I have to say that seeing Robo on Olaf on one side doesn't make Netuno a happy boy. Not a lot that he can do. We saw the cleanse had to be spended earlier on. That was just with Croc alone. When you've got an Olaf running at you, we saw what it did to Lava, who has spirit rushes. It's going to do horrific things to Netuno.
What do you mean he can do a sort of 300 range dash?
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He's got a 300 range dash.
That's
It'll be all right. It is intriguing how Gale Force is so often a polarizing item. It's either disgusting and it completely removes any ability for a team to get on top of an enemy player, and it just gives them so much playmaking potential. It just feels unfair to play against. Or in your situations like this where Robo hits Netuno with an undertow, Netuno Gale forces away, Robo picks up the axe and just throws it again.
Yeah.
And it's the sad state of ADC at some points. We are about 25 seconds until this dragon starts, though. Netuno has been able to pick up that item spike, but Root is hardly in a weak spot himself on this misfortune.
So going into this next fight, I mean, big cooldowns to keep an eye on, because there are a lot. What are the determining factors of success for either of these teams?
For Loud, it's if your ult wombo combo lands. We saw in the previous team fight the Root and Sales weren't really able to pair up with the Curse of the Sad bullet time combo, and that meant that only one kill went in favor of Loud. That's credit to Los Grandes. They need to buy space, they need to buy time, they need to prevent Loud from getting a clean engage in this fight.
See if they can stagger those cooldowns. Here, it being in the front line can be a massive boon for them, of course. But Tinones is waiting to be able to wall off the team, and in he comes, keeping them away from the Dragon for now. Ranger still keeping himself in smite range, but half that wombo combo gets expended to separate Los Grandes further. With so many cooldowns out, they've now got the chance. Tinones comes in for the flank. We're in the pit trying to look for the steal as Lava picks up a kill onto Root and flashes away, picks it up onto Robo as well, and keeps Los Grandes' dreams alive. The soul will go to Loud, but Los Grandes are winning the fight. Tinones, big cooldown over the wall as he finds a multi-man stun, turning things around just a bit, allowing Croc to pick up the kill onto Zai. Los Grandes alive technically, and in technicality alone as Lava escapes for now. Tinones goes golden, and now likely here it's going to fall. Tinone's gonna go down first. Croc looking for the damage onto the Scion, can't get through the shield.
So
he's alone. He can't can't even find Neptuno with the last whip of the Winter's Wrath will connect, making it a kill on the AD carry, and leaving Los Grandes confused?
Yes, no, me as well. And you saw what happened there if the Loud engage isn't paired up. We saw another Glacial Prison go a little bit wide. A curse of the Sad Mummy late into the fight. A bullet time that didn't really do too much damage. And I've got to say, if Loud aren't able to pick up that Mountain Drake on the backside of that fight, I think that goes a lot better for Los Grandes. But Croc just wasting so much time. Tino's there as well, really preventing that turning from disaster for Loud. And they've managed to escape that scare with the Mountain Soul. But Los Grandes have basically equalized the gold.
I was really happy with what Tino's pulled out last fight. I mean, despite the fact that they lost Root relatively early, Tino's was doing everything from splitting up the team early to applying pressure off of a flank to then clutching it up at the end. So this guy was everywhere at every point in that engagement. And, well, I mean, the good news is we get to see him again. The bad news is, for him, he's got to do it again because Baron is available, and that's what both these teams are looking at, especially Loud, who have that extra durability and forgiveness that you talked about earlier, now given to them via the Mountain Soul.
Yeah, and whilst we say that, look at the actual amount of resistances that have been built by Loud. It's not too many. And that Mountain Soul is going to scale off your own resistances. So actually not getting as much value from it as maybe they would like. The shield is a big thing, though, especially for Root and Tinones on these squishy targets. Every little bit of HP is going to help you out. It can be the difference between that charm into Q combo from Lava killing you or leaving you with 200 HP and still able to contribute something to the fight.
Yeah, the Locket actually from Seos is going to get a lot of value out of Mountain Soul, which is, weirdly enough, one of the highest value items that they're going to have benefiting off of that. We're going to leave Croc alone because Sejuani doesn't really have other builds. I mean, I guess he could go AP Sejuani, but that would be kind of a Giga Chad move.
Robo may be in trouble here. Tino's trying to split up the fight, and Eric will screen Cowards and run for the hills. It's just a trade of ultimates like we've seen so many times this game and this series, but no one is really the better off for it.
You're fishing there. At this point, it's something that Loud can do, toss out the ultimate, especially from Talia, and see if a mistake is made. Here it charges in any other direction, specifically backwards there. And all of a sudden, that fight goes very differently. But Loud feel confident enough off of that trade to start up the Baron, remembering that there is no wall for Talia, no way to stall this effectively. Loud are going to try and brute force with Root coming around the side instantly, trying to find Zay. And for now, it looks like they'll be able to do just that. Root picks up the kill with Neptuno firing at him over the wall. As Seos commits straight onto the AD carry. Here it's being chased down the back line, and a front-to-back team fight that could have been for Los Grandes is being surgically destroyed by Loud.
This is so strange. It's just Loud are bullying onto here, and on the other side, Los Grandes aren't really able to find.
Oh, here it goes! Robo! Exhausted! He's still alive! He gets so much health back, and straight into GA! That's Neptuno's nightmare!
Oh, God, he was kiting so hard on the backside. You see him open up with a Moonlight Visual to try and get something, but not able to cast it, not able to bring down that pain. And Loud are going to rotate back on to this Baron. Ranger is going to have a tough time getting onto this pit. But Los Grandes are still moving forward.
Doesn't have the flash, can't get into the Baron pit in time, and now it's not just the Mountain Soul, it's a team fight win and a Baron secured by Loud. This game's been extraordinarily close so far. The next team fight should not look that way. Let's actually take a look at this again, because you and I were, we were all over the place, and so were Loud and Los Grandes. It's a great start from Loud to come over the side here, completely splits up Los Grandes, and I got concerned right here, where Seos goes over the wall, until I realized that Los Grandes aren't fighting from anywhere.
Yeah, I love this. Hera is trying to do something, but on the other side, his team is not able to contribute anything at all. Again, that could have been even worse for Los Grandes. Root opened up with the bullet time, but it was actually cancelled. So all of the devastation that occurred onto Los Grandes could have been much worse. You lose 3 people, you lose the Baron. It's a quantum of solace that someone's ultimate got cancelled somewhere in some team fight. But you're not going to care about that because Elder is on the board. Los Grandes have to win this next fight.
It must win for, I dare say, both teams, as Loud losing control of the game at this point would be horrific. It would be nightmare fuel for them. It would be, say, similar to Robo running at your AD carry for Los Grandes, and that is sure to happen in this team fight, as ults are available for everyone on the map right now. We are, again, waiting for that wombo combo to land out of Loud, and they know that they've got just one chance to do it. You want to find Netuno, does have that cleanse and flash available. First, though, it's going to connect onto Ranger. Bullet time makes short work of him. Seo's still alive. Moonlight Vigil going to whip and hear it flashing over the wall. Wombo combo may have been onto the tankiest member, but it was effective and Loud. Walk back onto the Elder Dragon with no smite to counter them, forcing Los Grandes to come in even further. Lava, okay, might try and go for it. Netuno, however, does get jumped on by Croc. He's going to go down with just the cleanse having been expended. Now Root picks up the kill. Lava is getting 1v1 on the backside by Tinones, and it's another split fight, another scrap that Loud are coming out on top of.
Yeah,
Robo's
and
doing
it's so
the dragon.
crazy how every single here it will die here eventually. But the crazy thing for me, right, is the way the Loud seem to be winning these fights and the way it looks like they're going to be winning Game 3, getting to match point in this series, is by getting a pick. Los Grandes trying to re-engage and Loud just winning out the rest of the fights. We still haven't had what's felt like a big, decisive team fight where all of Loud's ultimate buttons land on the same person and they just die. We haven't had the wombo combos. They straight up have just won the team fights conventionally.
I mean, so much of that has to do with, I think there's a big scare factor here for Los Grandes. We're going to watch this again, but when Ranger's absorbing everything, that's where Los Grandes should have to go in. And yet, they're zoned out by the bullet time, and you can see it's They just literally get scared. It's like Loud go, here are a bunch of our cooldowns, boo, and Los Grandes scatter. Here it's not tanking for anyone over that wall. There's no way for them to re-engage, and like you said, we're left just praying that Lava can get into the pit and smite it away.
Yeah, this tank is in like a different theater of war compared to the rest of his team. You're not able to frontline from that position. I do want to credit Lava, though. He got a charm onto CS as he was diving in. Shout out to you. Once again, it's another situation of, you cancelled an ult. That's great, buddy. Your inhib towers are at threat. Let's focus up.
Yeah. Last stand incoming for Los Grandes. Robo has nothing to fear up here as he takes down the tower, and Seos is at liberty to throw out ultimates where he likes. For Loud are not in danger of losing control right here. Surprisingly, here it's not in danger of losing too much of his health. He's taken a lot of range damage, and yet Sion's just chilling, doing Sion things. We'll see what Los Grandes can manufacture here towards the end. They do have Zay's flash up, stuns available, so a big Tibbers could always turn the game around for them. Root lays out some damage early on, and we're still waiting for that big cooldown to start things off. Unfortunately, here it has to ult backwards to stay alive, and the base is falling apart for Los Grandes.
And Loud are just trying to bait as many of these cooldowns as possible. They refuse to overstep.
Lava flashes away. Rangers right in the front line. Remember, no bullet time for now, so Los Grandes are able to answer back effectively, picking up 2 kills for the price of 1. Loud now have to be on the back foot as they've really got no effective Barons or Elders to work with. But Lava gives chase. Fortunately, Robo turns right back around and he takes out Netuno. That is the trademark Robo play as he commits under the tower to kill Zay as well. He's alive for so long. He gets Lava! It's a triple kill for Robo, and the game a certainty for Loud.
Robo, what a performance from the Loud top laner. 7 kills and the Nexus to boot, and Loud go up 2-1 in the series.
What a Giga Chad of a top laner. Get me that man. Holy moly.